Okay, so let's say you're about to walk into an interview for an editorial assistant position,
Right.
but you don't just feel prepared, you feel confident, like
Yeah.
you know what they're looking for and exactly how to show off what you can do.
I like it.
That's what we want to help with in this deep dive.
Using some really great resources from RoleCatcher.
Oh yeah, RoleCatcher's got these career guides and interview prep materials that are seriously useful.
Yeah, they've got it all figured out.
So using all that, we're going to paint you a really clear picture of what an editorial assistant actually does.
Right.
We'll unpack what those interview questions really mean,
Uh-huh.
and of course, the best way to make your answers really shine.
That's the goal.
So to do that, we've got 10 sample interview questions from RoleCatcher.
10?
And for each one, we're going to break down why they ask it and the best way to approach your answer.
Sounds good.
You ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right, question number 1.
Hit me.
Can you tell us about your experience with copy editing and proofreading?
Seems pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty basic.
But there's more to it than meets the eye.
Okay, so what are they really trying to figure out with this one?
Well, they want to see proof.
Proof.
Yeah, like evidence of your attention to detail.
Oh.
I mean, anyone can say they've done proofreading,
Right.
but can you really explain the types of errors you're good at catching?
So, like, not just I've proofread things, but I'm really good at catching, comma splices or something.
Exactly. Or like, have you developed any techniques or strategies to make sure you're accurate?
Oh, interesting.
That's what's going to make your answer memorable.
So instead of just listing every single place I've ever done proofreading, I should focus on specific examples that really show off my eagle eye for detail.
You got it.
Okay, I like that.
And this is actually where RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, it analyzes those job descriptions
Okay.
to find any skills that might be missing from your CV.
So it's kind of like giving me a heads up. Like, hey, pay attention to this. You might want to beef this up a little.
Exactly. And if you're kind of hesitating on this question, maybe it's a sign you need to boost that part of your experience.
That's a really good point. It's like having a personalized checklist to make sure I'm hitting all the right points.
I like that.
Okay, on to question number 2.
Okay.
This is a good one. How do you stay organized and prioritize tasks in a fast-paced editorial environment?
Ooh, yeah.
Tight deadlines, man. Those are a real challenge, aren't they?
You're telling me?
I mean, that's like the reality of this job, right?
Oh, absolutely. And this question is all about figuring out your time management skills.
Time management.
Do you have a system?
A system.
Yeah, like do you use project management software or have a super specific to-do list strategy?
Interesting.
You want to show them that you can handle tons of deadlines and shifting priorities and not completely lose your mind.
So it's less about having like the perfect system
Right.
and more about showing them that I have a method to my madness.
Yeah, that's the gist. Think about specific examples where you've stayed organized and prioritized like a pro, especially when things got really crazy.
Got it.
So really paint a picture for them.
This is another spot where RoleCatcher's AI could help me tailor my answer, right?
It can actually suggest improvements to your CV based on the specific job description.
So it's really making sure that I'm showing off the skills that matter most for this specific role.
Bingo.
Okay, I love that. And speaking of presenting your best self, have you checked out their video practice feature?
Oh, yeah, the one with AI feedback.
Yeah, it's seriously a game changer.
You get to practice these questions, record yourself,
Uh-huh.
and then get feedback on how you sound, your tone, even your body language.
Like it's almost like having a virtual coach in your corner.
Right there with you every step of the way.
Amazing. Okay, on to question number 3.
All right, let's hear it.
Have you ever had to handle difficult feedback or criticism on your work? How did you respond?
Ooh, that one's a little more personal.
It is, right?
Mm-mm.
It feels a bit more like they're trying to get to know me.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out your emotional intelligence and your professionalism.
Oh, that makes sense.
Can you take constructive criticism gracefully?
Mm.
Are you open to learning and improving?
So should I just tell them about a time I got feedback and handled it perfectly?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
It's more about showing that you're self-aware and able to grow.
Uh-huh.
So share an example of a time when you got feedback and how you reacted to it and what you learned from that whole experience.
Okay.
Authenticity is key here.
So they want the real me, not some made-up version.
Exactly.
What kind of follow-up questions do you think they might ask?
They might dig deeper into the situation, asking about the specific feedback.
Okay.
Or they might ask, what's one area you're actively working on improving?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
So I need to be ready to talk about my weaknesses, but frame them in a positive way.
Yes, as areas for development.
Areas for development. I like that.
And it wouldn't hurt to mention what steps you're taking to improve,
Like what?
like online courses or workshops.
Oh, okay.
It shows initiative and a commitment to learning, which actually ties in nicely with RoleCatcher's career guide.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 4. How do you approach fact-checking and verifying sources in your work?
Big one,
Yeah, this one seems super important for an editorial assistant,
especially these days.
right? With so much information out there,
So much.
you really got to make sure you're getting things right.
They're looking for your dedication to accuracy and your research skills.
So do I have a process for checking facts?
Exactly.
Do I double-check my sources?
Consult with experts.
Oh, okay.
The more specific you are, the better.
Because it's not just about grammar and punctuation.
Right.
It's about the integrity of the content itself.
You are a guardian of truth in a way.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your answer has to reflect that.
Okay, so question number 5. Can you describe your experience with content management systems?
The tech question.
Yeah, this is a big one, isn't it?
Huge, especially in today's digital world.
They want to know if you can handle the tools of the trade.
So mention any specific systems you've used,
Like what?
like WordPress, Drupal, and how you've used them to create, edit, or manage content.
Okay, so what if I don't have a ton of experience with these content management systems? Should I just be upfront about it?
Honesty is always good,
Yeah.
but don't just leave it at that.
Okay.
If you're lacking in this area, show them you're willing to learn.
Ah, I like that.
RoleCatcher's Guide actually recommends some online courses and workshops you can take to boost those skills.
Interesting.
Highlighting that you're actively learning shows initiative.
And adaptability,
You got it.
especially in a field that's constantly changing.
All the time.
All right, question number 6. How do you approach working with multiple stakeholders such as writers, editors, and designers?
Ooh, lots of people to juggle.
It does sound like a potential recipe for disaster.
It can be, but it's also the reality of the job.
Okay.
They're checking out your communication and collaboration skills. Can you handle different personalities and work styles?
So should I tell a story about a time when I flawlessly managed a project with like 12 different people?
I think a more relatable approach would be to share an example where you had to navigate a challenge.
A challenge.
Yeah, or a disagreement on a team.
Okay.
How did you communicate?
Hmm.
Did you listen? Were you able to find a solution that worked for everyone?
So show them my real collaboration skills.
Exactly.
And I bet RoleCatcher's video practice could be helpful here too.
For sure.
Seeing myself answer and getting feedback on my body language and tone could help me come across as really diplomatic.
Definitely, because it's one thing to know what to say,
Right.
but how you say it is just as important.
Especially when you're talking about teamwork.
Huge.
Okay, we're on a roll.
I'm loving this.
Let's move on to question number 7.
Okay.
How do you stay up to date on industry trends and developments?
Oh, yes.
This one feels like it's all about passion and initiative.
They want to know if you're truly invested in this world.
The world of publishing and media.
Right. Do you read industry publications, follow blogs, attend events?
Okay.
This is your chance to show off your knowledge and enthusiasm.
And again, RoleCatcher's Career Guide has some great suggestions here.
It does.
I could mention specific publications or organizations that I follow to show them I'm really committed to constantly learning.
It connects your personal interests to the role.
Yeah.
Shows you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a place to grow.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Okay, making great progress.
You're doing awesome.
Question number 8. Can you give an example of a time when you had to make a difficult editorial decision?
Ooh, yeah.
This one feels like it requires some serious thought.
It does. They're not looking for just any decision. They're looking for something that shows your judgment, your ethics, your ability to think critically, even under pressure.
What kind of example would really impress them?
It could be like having to choose whether or not to publish a controversial piece.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe dealing with a plagiarism issue.
Okay.
Explain how you thought it through, the factors you considered, and what ultimately led to your decision.
Interesting.
Remember, there might not be a right or wrong answer here. It's more about how you approach the dilemma.
And this might be another good time to use that AI feedback from RoleCatcher.
Absolutely.
I could practice my answer and see if it flags any red flags or suggests ways to strengthen my reasoning.
It's like having an extra set of eyes on your response.
Okay, love that.
Making sure it's coming across the way you intend.
All right, we're in the home stretch.
Almost there.
Question number 9. How do you approach managing a team of editorial assistants?
All right.
Now, this one might seem tricky if I haven't had a lot of management experience.
It can be, but even if you haven't had a formal management role,
Okay.
you've probably had experiences where you've led or coordinated others.
Like what kind of experiences?
Think about group projects, volunteer work, even organizing events. The key is to show them you can delegate, communicate effectively, and give constructive feedback.
So even if I haven't managed a team in like a professional setting,
Right.
I can still show them I have those leadership qualities.
Absolutely. And if this question makes you nervous, take another look at the career progression stages in RoleCatcher's Guide.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Seeing the responsibilities of more senior roles can help you think about the skills you need to develop.
And how to frame my answers in a way that shows my potential.
You got it.
Okay, and finally, question number 10. How do you prioritize diversity and inclusion in your editorial work?
Very important.
This one feels really relevant today.
It's essential. They're looking for your awareness of representation and your commitment to making a more inclusive environment.
So have I worked with diverse writers or editors?
Exactly. Or have you actively sought out diverse perspectives in your research?
Okay.
Sharing specific examples of how you've incorporated these values will make your answer powerful.
And if I haven't had a ton of direct experience in this area,
Right.
maybe it's a sign to start looking into resources and engaging with different voices in the publishing world.
And again, RoleCatcher's Guide can point you in the right direction.
It's all about showing them that I'm not just aware of the issue, but that I'm actively trying to make a difference.
That's what they want to see.
Wow, we just covered 10 pretty intense interview questions.
We did.
And I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of what RoleCatcher has to offer.
It's packed with good stuff.
But before we wrap up this part of the deep dive, I think it's important to remember one thing.
What's that?
It's not about just memorizing the right answers.
Right.
It's about understanding why they're asking these questions and using that knowledge to really show off your unique skills and experiences.
You got it.
So much good stuff here.
Yeah.
I think we need a little break to process.
I agree.
But we'll be back with part 2 of this deep dive,
Absolutely.
exploring even more strategies and insights from RoleCatcher.
To help you land that dream editorial assistant role,
Don't go anywhere.
we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into becoming an editorial assistant.
Okay, so let's jump right back into those interview questions.
Sounds good. Remember, we're using RoleCatcher's insights to guide us.
Right.
It's not about giving you the perfect answers. It's about helping you understand what hiring managers really care about.
Gotcha. Okay, so what's next on our list?
All right, question number 11. Describe a time you had to work under a tight deadline. What were the challenges and how did you overcome them?
Oh yeah, deadlines. Those are like the heartbeat of the publishing world, aren't they?
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher's Career Guide really hammers that home.
Yeah, it talks a lot about the fast-paced nature of this job.
Exactly. They want to know you can handle the heat.
So did I freak out? Or did I stay calm and focused?
Did you prioritize, effectively communicate clearly with your team?
Oh, okay.
This is your chance to show off your problem-solving skills and your ability to deliver even when things get crazy.
I'm seeing a pattern here. It seems like a lot of these questions are about more than just my hard skills. They're also trying to get a sense of my personality and how I handle pressure.
It makes sense. They want to make sure you'd be a good fit for their team in that crazy, fast-paced environment.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Okay, question 12. What are your salary expectations? Ugh, this one always stresses me out.
It's a tricky one, but being prepared is key.
So how do I prepare for this?
Do your research. Use sites like RoleCatcher or look at industry salary surveys to get a sense of the average range for editorial assistant roles in your area.
Okay, so I shouldn't just throw out a random number.
Definitely not.
Okay, what should I do then?
It's helpful to give them a range rather than one specific number that shows you're flexible and open to negotiation.
Oh, that's smart.
You can also frame it in terms of the value you bring.
Okay.
So highlight your skills and experience to back up your expectations.
So it's less about just asking for money and more about what I'm bringing to the table. All right, on to question 13. Why are you interested in this particular company or publication? I feel like this is where I can really show off my love for publishing.
This is where your passion comes in.
Yeah.
They want to know that you've actually done your research and you really connect with their goals and their values.
Okay, so how do I get ready for this one? Should I memorize their mission statement from their website?
It's more than just reciting facts.
Right.
Spend some time on their website.
Yeah.
Read some of their latest publications.
All right.
Really dive in. What jumps out at you?
Mm-hmm.
What connects with your interests?
Okay.
Be specific and show them you're not just applying for any job.
Mm.
You see yourself as part of their team, contributing to their unique vision.
So it's about showing them I've done my homework and that I genuinely care about what they do.
You got it. And don't forget, RoleCatcher has that massive employer database.
Right?
You can really dig deep into the company's history, their culture, even their leadership team.
All those little details can help me paint a much clearer picture. Okay, it's like having a secret weapon. All right, question 14. What are your strengths and weaknesses? This one's a classic, but it still trips me up sometimes.
It's a tough one. The key is to be honest and self-aware, but also strategic.
Strategic, okay.
Choose strengths that are relevant to the job
Uh-huh.
and back them up with real examples.
Okay.
For weaknesses, frame them as areas where you're growing
Areas for growth. I like that.
and tell them what you're doing to improve.
So it's about spinning those weaknesses into opportunities.
Exactly. And guess what? RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your CV
Yeah.
and suggest which skills to highlight based on what the job description says.
Oh, that's a game changer.
And make sure you're showing off what they think is most important.
Okay, love that. Okay, question 15. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I know the old advice is to say something about growing with the company, but does that still work?
It can, but being genuine is key.
Oh.
If you truly see yourself building a long-term career with them, then say that.
Yeah.
But it's okay to be honest about other goals, too.
So what if I don't see myself in this exact role 5 years from now?
Focus on your skills and how you want to develop them.
Okay.
Maybe you're interested in a more specialized part of publishing or taking on a leadership role. Show them you're ambitious, but that your goals align with what they're doing.
So it's about finding that balance between showing initiative,
Right.
but also making sure they don't think I'm just using this as a stepping stone.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance, but with some thought, you can create an answer that's honest and aspirational.
Okay, I like that. On to question 16. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult person or situation at work. Ooh, this one sounds a little dangerous.
It can be, but remember, they're not looking for drama.
Okay.
They want to see how you handle conflict professionally.
So how do I approach this one?
Choose an example where you were able to calm things down, communicate well, and find a solution.
So focus on the positive.
Yes, how you use your skills to resolve the conflict.
Gotcha. And RoleCatcher's video practice feature could be really helpful here, right?
Oh, definitely.
Body language and tone play a huge role in how our message is received. So practicing with AI feedback can make sure I'm projecting the right image.
It's like a dress rehearsal before the big show.
I like that analogy. All right, question 17. What questions do you have for us? So now it's my turn to interview them.
You got it.
What are some good questions to ask?
Don't waste time asking questions you could easily find on Google.
Right.
Focus on things that show you care about their culture, their plans for the future, the challenges of this specific role.
Okay, so I can use that RoleCatcher database
Yeah.
to look into their recent news, their growth, even their competitors.
They help you come up with some really smart questions.
It's all about showing them I've done my research and I'm serious about this opportunity.
Exactly.
Okay, question 18. Can you tell me about a time you went above and beyond in your work? I feel like this is my chance to really shine.
It is. Choose a story that shows your dedication and your willingness to go the extra mile.
Okay.
Did you take on a tough project, help a colleague, come up with a creative solution?
Oh.
Show them you're not afraid of hard work and you're passionate about getting great results.
And I think this could be a good time to bring up those career progression insights from RoleCatcher.
Oh, yeah.
If I share an example where I went above and beyond my usual duties, it shows them I have the potential to grow within the company.
You're already thinking ahead. It subtly hints that you're interested in moving up.
I love it. Okay, question 19. What motivates you? Another one of those personality questions.
They're trying to understand your values and what drives you.
So am I passionate about learning?
Yeah.
Do I enjoy teamwork?
Uh-huh.
Am I motivated by challenges?
Right. Be yourself and let your enthusiasm shine through.
I bet RoleCatcher's AI could help me here too.
It can.
It could analyze my CV and suggest keywords or phrases that align with the company's values.
Exactly.
And that could help me really connect with them.
It's like having a personal coach helping you figure out the most effective way to present yourself.
Okay, last but not least, question 20. Do you have any questions for me? Wait, haven't we already covered this one?
We have, but this question might come up several times during the interview.
Really?
Think of it as an ongoing conversation.
Oh, okay, so I need to have a few backup questions ready.
Exactly. As they give you more information, you might think of new things to ask.
Okay.
Jot down notes and ask follow-up questions to show you're actively listening.
So that I'm engaged and paying attention.
Yes, that's what they want to see.
Wow, this feels like a masterclass in interview strategy.
We've gone through 20 tough interview questions.
We have.
And given you tons of strategies and insights from RoleCatcher to help you craft amazing answers.
Yeah, we have, but I have a feeling the journey's not over yet.
You're right. We've got one more part to this deep dive.
Bring it on.
We'll cover final tips and tricks to help you nail that interview and land your dream job in publishing.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
All right.
So we've spent the last two parts really digging into those tough interview questions for aspiring editorial assistants.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff.
But now I think it's time to go beyond just knowing the answers.
Okay.
And talk about how to really wow those hiring managers.
How to make a lasting impression.
Exactly, like we've given you all the ingredients. Now it's time to bake that delicious interview success cake.
I love that analogy.
Okay, so what's the secret ingredient that brings it all together?
Storytelling.
Storytelling.
Yeah, you can have the perfect resume,
Yeah.
ace all the technical questions, but if you can't weave it all into a compelling story, you're missing a big opportunity.
Storytelling in an interview for an editorial assistant role.
I know it might sound a little strange.
Yeah, I'm not sure I follow.
But think about it. They're asking you about your experiences,
Right.
your challenges, your wins.
Yeah.
Those are all stories just waiting to be told.
Okay.
And those stories are what make you stand out.
Okay. I'm starting to see what you mean.
Good.
But how do I make those stories really pop? I don't want to bore the interviewer with every little detail.
That's where the STAR method comes
That's
in.
STAR method. Yeah, it stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result.
Okay.
It's a framework for structuring your answers to be concise, impactful, and easy to follow.
So instead of rambling about a project I worked on,
Right.
I start by setting the scene, then describe the task, then the actions I took,
Yeah.
and then the positive outcome.
It keeps your answers focused and on point.
Okay, I like it. And I bet RoleCatcher's AI feedback could be helpful here too, right?
Absolutely. It can analyze your practice answers and see if you're using the STAR method effectively.
It's like having a personal storytelling coach.
Right in your pocket. And speaking of coaching, remember those career progression stages from RoleCatcher's guide?
You mean the ones that show how an editorial assistant role can lead to bigger and better things?
Exactly. Even if you're just starting out, it's good to think about your future goals.
Yeah.
And how this role fits in. It shows ambition
Okay.
and helps you talk about your skills in a way that highlights your potential.
So when they ask that classic question, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah.
I can talk about how I want to grow my skills in areas that align with the company's goals.
It shows them you're not just there for a job, you're there to learn and grow with them.
Okay. I'm feeling way more confident now.
Okay.
But there's one more thing we haven't talked about.
What's that?
Nerves interviews can be scary,
Oh, tell me about it.
even with all the preparation in the world.
It's totally natural to feel nervous.
So how do I deal with that?
Well, first things first, practice, practice, practice.
Okay.
That RoleCatcher video practice feature is a lifesaver.
Right.
The more you rehearse your answers, the more confident you'll feel when the pressure's on.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about those moments right before the interview
Right.
when the butterflies start going crazy?
Take some deep breaths. Visualize yourself rocking it.
Okay.
And remember, they want you to do well.
They do.
They invited you for a reason. They see something in you.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's not just me trying to impress them.
Right.
They're trying to impress me too.
It's a two-way street. And last but not least, don't be afraid to be yourself.
Okay.
Let your personality shine through. Be enthusiastic.
Yeah?
Let them see your love for publishing.
That's what makes you memorable, right?
Exactly. No algorithm can replace genuine passion and excitement.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
And even if you don't get this particular job, every interview is a learning experience.
That's the right attitude.
It's a chance to practice, build confidence, and get one step closer to your dream job.
Absolutely.
Well, there you have it, folks. We took a deep dive into the world of the editorial assistant, armed you with all sorts of knowledge from RoleCatcher,
Tons of it.
and hopefully boosted your confidence to crush those interviews.
You got this.
Remember, it's not just about getting any job.
Yeah.
It's about finding the right fit for your skills and your passion.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So go out there, make your mark on the world of publishing, and never stop learning.